taken on multiple meanings since the 1700s. But Mark Aronson, the author of Race, A History Beyond Black and White, says that race is a way of explaining human difference and organizing people into categories. One of those categories is that each group has a distinct level of brain power and moral refinement, thus, they are naturally and unchangeably ranked. That means that each group is basically ranked from more primitive to more advanced skills, which is more animal to more thoughtful. And we took to the students to figure out if this is true.
Race mostly means to me, like when it's something, when I think of race, I always think of culture and like the cultural aspect that it's coming with and like how like our culture has helped us survive. I guess.
Race to me is just a way to differentiate where we come from. It shouldn't have any real meaning on how we treat each other.
For me, it's number one identifier in terms of how I identify myself. And then go down from there from, identify as being African American. So being black is something that's constant in my life, just in terms of how, not in terms of how it drives me, but it's how I view the world, how the world views me. So, and then everything else after that follows.
In the school community, Groves has a white enrollment of 75.9% and a black enrollment of 20.2%. And in the past 4 years, from 2012 to 2016, Groves has had one major race scandal, and between Groves and Seaholm, 2 or 3. The author, Mark Aronson, says that we are all prejudiced people, and we all think that we are guilty of something just because of our skin tone.
Diverse and everyone is treated the same no matter what race.
Go ahead.
So how do you think your community handles race issues? My community, I believe, handles race issues well. As far as I see.
This tension in Groves High School is the fact that we are socially segregated, and Mark Aronson kind of proves that point with a picture, and it's in Indian, which says, why can't white men act like human beings? And it's basically because we don't like interacting with one another. Like, so I'll hang out with a ton of other people, and then my student on the right, who might be Caucasian, will hang out with a ton of Caucasian people, but we will never talk to each other because we don't see each other as the same or maybe socially acceptable to one another. And that's also a huge problem because we should be able to talk to one another like human beings and like adults and be able to get along with each other. But sometimes, you just have to go with people who are more into your clique, and that we should kind of change that. Like, we need to work on that a little more. And so we took to students at Groves to see how they figured that would work out.
Have you ever been affected by racism?
Sometimes, like, you go to the mall or something, and then some people won't treat you the same as others.
So they follow you around and stuff, maybe? And stuff? Okay, cool. Have you ever been affected by racism?
Yeah. You can be affected by racism like in school, at jobs, anywhere. Whether it could be overt racism or it could be slight discrimination. But yeah.
Do you have an example off the top of your head?
I'm sorry. Cut that out. I think that one example I have of racism is when all the stuff happened during Martin Luther King Day, and one of the teachers who was supposed to have a discussion refused to hold the discussion the way it was supposed to be held. And that's an example of racism, because instead of addressing the situation at hand, she just decided to talk about other stuff and things like that, and just talk about the context of America. We're not necessarily dealing with race, so I feel like that was just a shock.
She didn't get the point of what
of what it was about. Yeah.
Do you feel this school is socially segregated? Like black people talk to black people, white people talk to white people. Alright. Do you feel socially segregated in this community?
Definitely.
Definitely. So you feel like white people talk to white people, black people talk to black people?
Yeah, for the most part. Like, it's definitely seen in, like, our homecoming dance. You and I both know, like, where's everybody standing, where everyone's standing, like, in the hallways, everything.
Everywhere we go, everything we do, we try and make it seem like race does not matter. The word race does not matter. But it does matter because that's how we define ourselves and that's how we characterize ourselves to others. So instead of trying to say that in textbooks, in everything we do, the classroom, just talking, to say that race doesn't matter, we should say that race matters, but give it a new definition. A definition that just characterizes your being for who you are. So saying that we're all different is good, but we are all equal is even better.